Hello and welcome to the Smooth Jazz Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. I'm accompanied by
Nell Harper.
Okay. Pretend it's late. So where were we? We're talking about how you used to be a member of the
Revolutionary Communist Party. Yeah, so the reason I left the RCP, I would say I was doing my A-levels at the time, and actually being a part of the RCP was like, it was a lot. I had a lot of responsibility. I was the youth officer for Bristol.
And what does that entail? Do you put posters up, right?
I did. Okay. I did fly posts around Bristol and around Clevedon as well.
Did you?
Yeah,
you squeegee them up with like
yep.
On the bus
I made
stops.
homemade glue.
No way. How?
It's
flour?
made like flour and water.
I remember this from like 2020.
I don't know, but yeah.
When I was into zines or the idea of them for like a month.
I was with my boyfriend at the time. And we used to go and fly posts together. We would sell papers literally right on the corner over there. I wonder if they're there today. No, they do it for an hour pretty much on like a Saturday, or like 2 hours in the afternoon. And then there's normally lots of paper sales around uni campuses, especially UE at the minute, because you know when you're trying to recruit a uni of Bristol students, it's a bit like long day. They're not gonna.
You're selling a fish to a bike. You're selling a bike to a fish, right?
Right.
That's a saying.
Yeah. No, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. And so there was also
did people buy them?
Yeah, people
How
did buy them. What do you mean? How much
are they selling for?
£2 for a whole newspaper. So the newspaper was called The Communist, but I think I would actually still buy the newspaper today because it's news. It's a newspaper. It's not necessarily... Obviously, it's all written from a left-wing perspective. You know, the stuff about Palestine and Israel. There's, you know, stuff about just other political things going on in the world. I remember when I was a big part of the group... you wouldn't have... I don't know if you would have been in school when this happened, but when all the concrete... Do you remember when the concrete was like... Lots of buildings had dangerous concrete? They were dangerously made and they kept falling down.
I do remember that, yeah.
So when I was in year 13, that happened to my school.
Shit. It fell down?
No, we weren't allowed in the building, the main building. And they had put us in the middle of winter in these tents.
No way.
And I swear,
Did you write about it?
I did an article on it for the communist newspaper. That's cool. I was there like taking pictures and like doing secret interviews with like my teachers and stuff.
That's so sick.
It was honestly pretty surreal. Like,
have you considered going into journalism?
I definitely
think you'd be a great journalist.
Lots of people ask me like, what do you want to do with your life? And I always say like, I think I want to be a journalist. And everyone's like, what? Because like, I don't study journalism, but I do study politics.
They're intertwined. My grandma really wanted me to be a journalist. I think she still does.
My sister went to uni to study journalism and she dropped out after 1 month. So I
feel like politics is a better route into journalism than studying journalism.
I feel the same.
You know what I mean?
I definitely feel the same, and I think I would really like to go into like some kind of independent journalism. Do you really want to work for any of those like big media companies? Like none of them are really my style.
Yeah, no, they're like we did newspapers for media. And we were like, all newspapers are owned by like 2 guys.
Yeah.
So dead.
Rupert Murdoch.
Rupert Murdoch. Have you watched Succession?
Yes. Literally Logan Roy.
I think when I went to the Guardian headquarters, I was so gassed. That was when we went to see Mike Wozniak and we missed his show by a day. I crashed out, but did Luke already tell you that story? It was really stressful.
Yeah.
We were there a day late. We took our seats and we were like, why is there a grand piano on stage? He's a stand-up comedian. And then we were like, why is everyone in this room over 70? And we looked at the program and it was like a piano concerto. I checked the tickets. This was a Sunday. It was meant to be the Saturday. And this was St. Patrick's Day in 2023. And we had like 19 Guinnesses and we both just bought like 2 pints of vodka lime soda each so we wouldn't have to like leave the show to buy drinks again. Spent like 25 quid on these drinks. And then we just sat in the foyer of this little building. Luke called everyone he knew to be like the funniest things just happened while I sat there like shaking and crying because I was so upset. He's my favourite comedian of all time. And now I'll never see him. Oh no, I'm going to see him in October. Me and my dad are going to go and watch their podcast in Manchester. Pretty gassed. I'm really excited to move in, actually. I'm excited to see what my house looks like.
You stay there last night, did you?
I accidentally told my dad that I don't know what my house looks like. I haven't even seen a picture. And he was like, that's quite bad. And I was like, yeah, but like...
Have your housemates already, like, allocated rooms and stuff?
Yeah, we did it on WhatsApp. Like, Nala drew a
Were you
picture.
just like, I don't care?
Of course. They were like, we can toss a coin, da-da-da. I was like, guys, I'll take anything, it's fine. So they put me on the ground floor next to the kitchen. Fair enough. And then I was talking to someone at work who went to Leeds when she was uni age. And then she was like, yeah, if you're on the ground floor, it's like really risky because like you can get robbed. And I was like, I'm on the ground floor. And she was like, oh, well, you'll be fine. Just like, just like be safe. And I was like, okay, cheers. It's really helpful. I don't think I'll get robbed though, because it's not like we're in like the underbelly of Hyde Park. I'm like up at the top.
The street that Alex is living on is the most robbed street in
Chestnut Avenue. Get doxed, Alex. Yeah, I walked down that road on the way to Brudenell, and I was like, damn.
It's rough. I just know when my mum's driving me up, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? She hates coming to London and thinks it's like a prison.
Really? I mean, she's not wrong. It's a prison, but you meet some of your best friends in prison. That's what Shawshank Redemption's about. Male friendship.
We're living Shawshank Redemption right now.
I'm gonna redeem that Shawshank. I didn't like Shawshank Redemption.
Wow, that's controversial.
I mean, I thought it was fine, but I don't think it's deserving of like, this is one of the best films of all time. Like, I cried at the end, but that doesn't mean anything. I'll cry at the end of a Specsavers advert. I watched it with Kelby. Do you?
I cry so easily.
I was surprised to see you cry when you left Lupton, actually. I don't know if
I already cried when I was saying goodbye to you and Alex. I feel so bad.
I feel so greedy going back in for a second,
I felt so
third
bad
hug.
for everyone else because I literally I nearly cried when I said goodbye to you.
And I'm seeing you in a week.
And then I cried when I said goodbye to Alex and all the other girls. I was like, no. To be fair, I'm only like really close with you and Charlotte. And I know I'm literally like sleeping at Charlotte's house in a couple of weeks.
There you go, easy.
She's coming to Bristol to help her friend move out of uni or to like move into her house. So I'm gonna.
Sweet.
I'm seeing her a couple times. And there's other bitches who I'm not seeing until September.
When I said goodbye to Daisy, I was like, I don't really know you, but I was like. Well, because you know they were outside. I don't know if this is after you left or not. What did Daisy leave before you?
Daisy left before me.
Well, maybe okay. So then the day she was like leaving, I was tidying my room. I heard her and Ella out the window going like Elliot, and I was like, he's out. Can I take a message? I said it much nicer than that though. And then she was like, we want to say goodbye to Elliot because I'm leaving. And I was like, oh okay, he's at work. And I was like, and then we like chatted, had an awkward chat. Because every time me and like those girls upstairs talk, they're nice and they're good friends obviously, but we normally just talk about like the gang war going on between the floors. And then we were like, I had to get really earnest all of a sudden, and I was like, well, it's been really nice warring with you, I guess, and have a good summer. And I was like, I'll probably see you again. Are you living with Daisy? No. So, really cold, low key. I need to pee. Oh, my mum's calling me. Okay, that's all we have time for today. Tune in next week for more smooth jazz chat, and stay smooth.